2015.
Okay, that's dead. And we're all dead. Oh god, no, this has failed. Oh yeah! Hit it! You idiot! Flying close to my tank. Oh no. Come on. Flipping hell! No, no, no! No, 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 no! Oh, flip! No! Not the dude!
It was a hard-fought battle, but in the end, with my commanding skills, we never stood a chance. That was painful to watch. No proxy grenades, no tactical placing of C4 primed for 2, 3, 4 turns to make a trap, no actual throwing grenades in the alien ship, just putting on the ground and running for a suicide. WTF. Of course his firing is off. He has a flare in his other hand. Hint for next time, I guess. Well, it seems as though people are dissatisfied with my performance. Gotta prove them wrong then. 2020. Hello everyone, and I am back with another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing XCOM Terror from the Deep. A while ago, I reviewed Openxcom UFO Defense, and if you are interested in that video, then do click the top right hand corner to see it. XCOM UFO Defense got an 8 out of 10, and I've always considered that game to be slightly better than this one, so let's see how this one compares. Now, Terror from the Deep is a direct sequel to the previous game. It begins after we've driven off the alien threat and have now expanded our civilization, adopting some cool new alien technology. But before the giant brain was destroyed on Mars in the first game, it sends out a distress signal. Now, in 2040, the aliens have returned from underwater to get revenge and take over the world, and it's XCOM's job to stop them. Pretty cool stuff. As soon as we start this game, one thing has become very apparent to me. This is a direct clone of UFO Defense. Like, it's not even funny. I mean, the developers are literally not even trying to hide it. It's essentially the same game, but underwater this time. Now that I've stated the obvious, there are a few crucial game changes which I think differentiate Terror from the Deep from the original. For starters, the maps are a whole lot bigger than the previous game. This is probably due to computer software improving, but bigger isn't always better, as this sort of leads to missions slowing down to a crawl to find that last alien. Don't worry, I will talk more about this later. Now, just like the last game, there's very little hand-holding here. You have to figure out yourself how to combat the alien threat and how to beat it. This game doesn't even tell you that in order for the story to progress, you need to capture a live alien. I had to look this up on YouTube for the first time. And you'll probably be doing this a lot. In fact, I think you need to. I don't see any shame in this fact, and I see it as part of the fun, really. I remember when I first played this game, I had to print out a research tree so I knew how to unlock the next area of the game. Now, I'd also recommend that you do the same, because there are a few game-breaking bugs that might mess up your save file if you research things in the wrong order. Obviously, when playing a game like this, the nostalgia hits hard, and I'm gonna say this now, this is a real game. None of this baby holding a hand rubbish that we've seen so far today. No tutorials, no help, but there is one thing that I have failed to mention so far. The difficulty. Oh no. Now, in the first mission, you're probably going to lose most of your guys right there and then. I mean, you're probably going to be forced to retreat with your tail between your legs. But this is what makes the game feel so good. Now, your guys are getting slaughtered left and right by brutally unfair and overpowered enemies. Of course, this can lead to you raging at the game from time to time, but I only have one thing to say in response to that. Without Terror from the Deep's difficulty, it loses its personality. The bond that you form with your soldiers is even better than it was in the last game, and this is the main reason people play XCOM games. Now, while I have made my love for this game apparent, there are certainly some game-breaking issues. Obviously, I'm blinded by most of them as I only see love for this game, but the level design of this game is brutal to say in the least. These levels are procedurally generated, which is fine, but there are some points that are specifically designed to favour the aliens' quick reactions and superior accuracy. I mean, just look at some of these clips. Now, the larger levels in this game are certainly painful, because you will be forced to search every nook and cranny of a massive map just to find the last alien. This issue is quite bad on normal maps, but it gets dialed up to 11 on Terror missions. Whilst these levels are still quite fun, the pace of Terror from the Deep is certainly slower than the original. This makes it harder for you to pick up and play if you know that you're in for a slog. Now, the Terror missions are just about bearable, but there are these cruise ship missions which are an absolute terror. I mean, just look at some of this footage that I've recorded. This game is an absolute maze at some points, and I really dread these missions. Not to mention that Terror from the Deep has reduced the ammo of all your guns, making things even harder. This game really is unfair, and you are bound to lose at least half your troops on some of these missions. On top of this, the only thing in this game that has been drastically overhauled are the enemies. Now, this is actually really good, as we've got a completely new set of enemy types here, and I'm actually a really big fan of this. Although, some of these enemies are terrifying. Lobstermen, for example, feel really unbalanced, and the mixed crews for the underwater base missions are horrendous. As I've said before, the tight level design really plays into the enemy's strengths in these missions, so you feel like you're on the back foot from the beginning. One problem that UFO Defense had was that the game was really unbalanced towards the end. Well, Terror from the Deep does try to fix this issue, but it actually makes everything worse. I mean, mind control is still way too overpowered, and the enemies are even more powerful at the start of the game now. Making the tougher enemies literal bullet sponges only slows down the pace of the game, instead of making it more fun. In a normal game, I'd usually hate this, but in Terror from the Deep, it's a bit different. The difficulty is what makes this game so special. The aliens are a brutal challenge, but when you finally manage to turn the tide, it feels oh so good, because you've really had to work hard for it. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, now that I've praised the living daylights out of this game, I do need to mention some issues that it has. Aside from the obvious difficulty and painful level design that I have mentioned earlier, the game is riddled with bugs which can be quite worrying, as you don't want to lose all of that progress that you've worked towards. Secondly, the fact that this game is a direct copy and paste of the original, except it's made worse from the issues that I've already mentioned before, seems downright lazy from the developers. There isn't really that much map variety, like there's only 2 cruise ships, so you'll be playing in the same levels again and again, which can get seriously boring. This becomes especially obvious in the final stages of the game, where everything slows down to a crawl. Eventually, when you do end up on the final mission, it feels very anticlimactic. I mean, it's actually a massive letdown, as you are essentially navigating your way through a long maze, which isn't really that fun. I'd have preferred to just have a single level instead of the 3 boring ones that we actually got. I'd much rather the aliens try and throw the kitchen sink at you all at once instead of the gradual trickery that we actually got. Aside from all of that, the game does suffer from being over 25 years old. It is very clunky and hard to control. A modern gamer would certainly get frustrated with this. But I'd argue that any hardcore gamer worth their salt needs to give XCOM a go. Overall, XCOM Terror from the Deep gets 6 out of 10. Now, this was a very tough decision for me to make. I can't ignore the massive issues that this game has, but at the same time, I can't forget how much of an impact this game has had on me. If I wasn't influenced by nostalgia and just picked this game up today, it could easily get as low as a 4, but obviously I love this game to death. I wouldn't really recommend it to new fans of the series, as I'd advise playing UFO Defense first, but if you do want to kill some time, then certainly check this one out on Steam. I mean, it's only about a $5, so if you're bored and looking for something to play, then certainly pick it up. I mean, who knows, you might even get hooked like me. Anyway guys, that has been it for me today. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye.